This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
And they're rounding the far turn. Bayern still there with that lead. Tonalist ratcheting up that pressure. And here comes Wicked Strong. And those three are going to hit the quarter pole together. And Mr. Speaker's not far behind. He's now running fourth. And the field turns for home. Top of the stretch. Bayern coming up empty. Not Wicked Strong. He's got the lead. And Mr. Speaker going to try to take it to him. V.E. Day late on the scene. Tonalist down toward the inside. Coming to the final 16th. It is still Wicked Strong. But here comes V.E. Day with a final try. Who will win the Travers? It will be Too Close to Call.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Down the Stretch. I'm Mark Asano. On this morning's show, Jimmy Jerkens will talk Travers. We will welcome back Mr. Charlie Lopresti and Wise Dan. Local product Chad Brown will sit down and talk about his meat, and Mr. Tom Durkin will discuss his career and what retirement might hold. So all of that and much, much more if you stay with us for this, our August 30th edition of the program, which is being sponsored by Parting Glass Racing, Saratoga's original racing partnership. They've had a good Saratoga meet. Visit them on the web at partingglassracing.com. Good morning once again on a beautiful final summer Saturday here at Saratoga. 4 stakes on this afternoon's card. Just a wonderful day of racing in front of us, and hopefully a wonderful final Saratoga edition of Down the Stretch over the next hour or so. Our first guest this morning basically capped off a sensational Saratoga meet last Saturday when he ran 1-2 in the Travers with V.E. Day and Wicked Strong. We welcome back to Down the Stretch, Mr. Jimmy Jerkens. Jimmy, welcome back to Down the Stretch and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mark.
When we did the pre-Travers interview a week ago, at the end of that interview, I congratulated you on a terrific meet, and you said, I hope we can keep it going. Boy, did you keep it going. That was sensational.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a dream, something for it to work out like that. You know, it looked like everything was falling into place as far as, you know, leading up to the race and everything. So I would have been extremely disappointed if they didn't at least show up and run their race, but it was more than we expected, that's for sure.
Well, let's go back and take a look at the Travers with our audience. V.E. Day number 4, Wicked Strong number 7. Jimmy, did you have any pre-race instructions for either jockey, specifically Rajiv, because he's riding the colt with more tactical speed?
Oh yeah, you know, he said, well, we don't want to let Bayern get too loose. I said, well, you can't ride a race to beat one horse. You know, you gotta, if you use him up too much, he's not going to have much at the end. But I thought he split the difference. I thought he split the difference just right. He might have been able to tuck in just a little bit more here, but that didn't end up being a big deal because they pulled up away from him and he was able to tuck in the middle of the turn. So he didn't lose that much ground, and I was happy to see Toneless go after Baffert's horse, and we were able to sit off him. You know, maybe if he could have sat off him, maybe a length or more from here would have been ideal, but you can't, you know, you can't cut it that close. I mean, but he's got him. He looks like he's well within himself, and he's got those 2 horses within range. So I felt pretty good. Horse was running strong and even on his own, and the other guy was getting a good trip too, saving all the ground, which is what you have to do in a race this far. And he's riding them. He's not going to the stick or anything like that, but he's keeping his arms moving and keeping in rhythm so he can hold the spot, which was, you know, Javier riding in unbelievable form.
Well, right here, Rajiv is going to push the button. He's going to just glide up to the 2 leaders and go by. At this point, what's going through your mind?
I thought we had a hell of a shot because I thought you could tell Bayern was just about through, and he had been driving on Tonalist already, and I didn't think he was through, but I thought and I was thinking we ran pretty hard to get where we were too, but you know, especially when he kicks off right here, I thought he was home. I saw our other horse make it happen, nice, making momentum, but I thought he was just not quick enough to catch him, but then he just lunged the last 2 strides. He just lunged to get him right at the wire.
When did you realize that the horse closing in on Wicked Strong was VE Day?
I was pretty sure it was him, but I didn't want to say, you know, I'd be disappointed, and I thought I had my one eye on him too all the way, and I didn't think that I lost sight of him, but I said, God, it'd be terrible if it isn't him, but then, and I knew it was him as soon as I saw that Sherwin, the big white Sherwin, I knew it was him, and his way of going too was pretty unique.
What happens? I mean, how did you root when you realized it was VE Day coming after Wicked Strong? What were your emotions? Were you simply hoping for a dead heat at that point?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Because it was awkward, no doubt about it. Because you know not that it was important for VE Day, but it was ultra important for Wicked Strong. But at least he ran a winning race. You can't say he didn't run a winning race. Just didn't actually win it. But he certainly didn't lessen anything in other people's eyes, I don't think.
For a horse who started out as a grass horse, VE Day is now unbeaten on dirt and is a Grade 1 winner of the Travers. Could you ever have imagined that when that maiden race was washed off the grass earlier this year?
No, not really. But he did have extraordinary stamina for, I mean, ability to keep on going. You know, you couldn't call him a plotter by any means because his races they're not slow races, but he has a plotter's mentality, but he's just more gifted than a plotter is. So we got the best of both worlds with him.
I imagine you talked to Dad sometime after the race. What did he have to say?
Well, you might have read it in the paper. He watched it with my sister down at his house, and he got all disappointed that he got nailed, and my sister was jumping up and down, and he thought that he had hung on to win, and he didn't realize it was our other horse. Or she did, but he didn't realize it was the other horse coming on.
All right, how'd they both come out of the race, and what's next for both of them?
They both came out of the race great. They really did. They haven't missed a beat. We galloped them a couple of days, and we gave them both a day off today, but they got out they walked 2 days and galloped 2 days, and they couldn't have looked any better, fresher, especially for horses that coming out of a race like that. As far as what's next, I really don't know. There's a couple of spots, but it's going to be, which we could try to separate the two. I don't know if we can, but I really haven't really discussed it much. Can't really elaborate on that much because I don't want to say anything that's not accurate. I don't really know where we're going to go with either one of them.
Heading into yesterday's card, you were winning at about 39% and had run 1-2 in the Travers. What a meet this has been. What do you plan to do for an encore the last several days?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a dream meet, no question about it. It probably happens. We're lucky enough to get good horses, and that can happen when you get horses that are quality horses and they do good. You do the right thing by them, and they respond, and they're all. Yeah, it seems to work like that. It seems to cumulatively, the whole stable seems to do good at once. And it works the other way too. Sometimes they all do bad at once. That's why my father they asked him who his favorite horses were, and I know exactly what he means after training. He said those ones that were always bailed us out when the outfit was running bad. Like he had an old gelding called Bokens who, you can't put your finger on why they're not just they turn for home and don't have anything left. You can't understand. But he always seemed to rise to the occasion, and he said at least one time, a couple of times during the month, you can go home feeling good. He says he always had a soft spot in his heart for horses like that, and it's true. When you're fighting a battle day in and day out, you know exactly what he's talking about.
Well, Jimmy, first of all congratulations. Sensational meet. capped off by your second Travers, and in the process you run 1-2. Just absolutely fabulous. We thank you again for stopping by and joining us this morning on Down the Stretch. And as we did last week, and you're about to have a heck of a party here. We've got a $100 gift card to Jacob and Anthony's American Grill, 38 High Rock Avenue, right here in downtown Saratoga Springs. They are open daily for lunch and dinner beginning at 11:30. So make sure you get over there, because I got a feeling this is going to be a pretty good party.
Yes, thank you very much.
Jimmy, congratulations. That's big time stuff. Congratulations. Jimmy Jerkens, ladies and gentlemen, the trainer of the 1-2 finishers in the Travers. Congratulations again to Jimmy Jerkens, and thanks again for having joined us. Now our next guest has a very exciting and possibly a little bit nerve-wracking afternoon in front of him as he brings back two-time reigning Horse of the Year Wise Dan for this afternoon's Bernard Baruch. We welcome back to Down the Stretch Mr. Charlie Lopresti. Charlie, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
As always, it's great to see you. Has it been a little tough on the nerves bringing the old boy back?
Yeah, it has been. He came here in good order, and we were just fighting. I was fighting my head where to run him. I really wanted to run him the 4-star Dave. But after I got here, I just realized I was trying to stuff too much in the bag, and I know we did the right thing. We gave him a little bit more time. He had a good workout Travers Day, and he just started to go the right way, and the extra time has been good.
So are you pleased, or how pleased are you with his preparation up to this afternoon's Baruch?
Number one, I'm pleased that he's alive.
Yeah.
But I'm really pleased with him. I think, you can overcook something, and I don't think I can do too much more with him. It was a big question: stay here, go to Woodbine. We would have had to go home, go back to Woodbine, and I thought, you know what, we've got him about as good as we want to get him. Let's run him here.
Wonderful. Well, we are thrilled about that. Want to take you and the audience back to around mid-May, and you noticed something was amiss with Wise Dan. Tell us about that.
Well, my nephew, Reed McGahee, he called me. I was at the track one morning, and Wise Dan, he said he just wasn't right. He was pawing the ground, then he was in the stall, and he just knew he was uncomfortable. And so I told him to take him outside for some grass, see if he'd eat some grass, and he wouldn't. He was pawing the ground. So our vet looked at him, and he didn't have any gut sounds. So we rushed him right over to Rood and Riddle, which is a 15-minute drive from Keeneland. And when they got him there, they ultrasounded his abdomen, and they noticed that his small intestine was enlarged, and there was some edema there. So they gave him a drug to reduce his spleen. It's called a nephrosplenic entrapment. It's where the small intestine get large behind the spleen. They gave him a drug to reduce his spleen, and they took him out behind the barn, and we jogged him for 15 minutes. And they put him back in the stall, and he looked to be okay, and then he started to paw the ground again, and he started to get hot this time. So they ultrasounded him again, and they said that it was getting larger, and they had to do surgery on him. So I was like, oh, do we have to? And they said, we need to open him up to fix it. So somewhere, luckily, between the time when they laid him down and prepped him for surgery and opened his belly up, it had flipped back, probably when he was upside down. The blood supply had already come back to it. So I'm standing outside the surgery, and the surgeons give me the thumbs up, and I'm thinking, how could he give me a thumbs up? His belly's opened up, he's on the table. And then the girl that was assisting him came out. She said, as far as colic surgery goes, this is the best case scenario. He fixed it on his own, and if we get through the next 48 hours, we should be okay. So he stayed there at the clinic for 4 days, came home, and I tell you, you would have never known that he had it unless you saw the incision on his belly. And he came off the van jumping like he was ready to go to a race. That's the amazing thing about him. It was uneventful, really. He healed, and they were going to let me start riding him in 4 weeks, and in 3.5 weeks, they said, just go ahead and put the tack on him. So we started tack walking him at our barn at home. After 4.5 weeks, we started jogging him, and then we brought him back to Keeneland, and right before we came here. They were good enough at Keeneland because of all the construction that was going on. They let me take him to the turf course, and we breezed him an easy half, and we brought him up here.
So it sounds to me as though, as classy a racehorse as he's been on the track the last several years, he was a classy patient as well.
Yeah, you know, I've been through that a lot with horses. You see that with yearlings and mares and racehorses. And a lot of times it doesn't go that well, you know. They get a fever. I guess there's a picture of him right there, you know, after the surgery at our farm.
Now, was there any point following the surgery and his recuperation when you said to yourself, this has been a lot of fun, but I don't think he's going to make it back to the races?
You know, I can't say that. You know, he never showed me that. I mean, he's just amazing. After a couple of weeks, we'd graze him an hour twice a day. Amy and I would take him out, one of us, an hour twice a day. And I would say 2 weeks after that surgery, he came out of there some afternoons. I mean, I had my hands full walking out of the barn. And I think they saw that here when he came here the first week. One afternoon, I was grazing him out there. And he was just playing and having a good time. So, I mean, he probably lost a little condition, and sometimes I looked at him, oh boy, he doesn't look like, you know, and that's to be understood.
Right.
He wasn't in training for 3.5 weeks, you know, he had just come off that race at Kentucky. So he lost some condition. He lost some weight over his back. He didn't have the muscle tone on his hindquarters, but it really started to come back when we came up here. And everybody was wondering why I trained him so much on the dirt. And I thought, you know, he'll just get a lot more out of it, training, breezing on the dirt. We breezed him over there on the grass, but I thought, you know, he'll get more out of it training on the dirt and breezing on the dirt. And he's done very well here, really done well.
That's wonderful. Well, Charlie, we're going to go back with our audience and take a look at his last race, which was the May 3rd Turf Classic at Churchill Downs. For our audience, Wise Dan, #1, drew the inside post. He fought Johnny pretty hard here early on.
Yeah.
Talk about this.
Well, he was pretty sharp that day, and that's what worries me a little bit about today. He's going to be on the engine. You know, Johnny's done a good job. The good thing is there's going to be some real speed ahead of us, I think.
Right.
Yeah, you know, I just hope, you know, Johnny can, I'm watching this. I hope Johnny doesn't have the same problem he had here. But once you wrangle him back like Johnny does here, then he'll be okay, you know. But you got to do that, otherwise he'll want to go up there with those horses. I think right here he's in good spot here now once he's settled.
He has been a great middle distance grass horse for the last several years. He is now 7 years of age. Has he lost a step or two?
If he has, I haven't seen it, you know. I mean, the way he works and the way he drags his exercise rider around there, you know, I guess you're not really going to know that until, you know, you'll know it in his races, but I don't think we've seen it. I mean, I heard some people say that about this race, but you got to look at the trip that he had. Johnny had a wrangle him back. He was wider than anybody. And then Seek Again's a good horse, and he proved it when he came back here and he won, you know. And I tell you what, I mean, he could have been beat this day, but he's just a game horse, you know. And Seek Again had a lot better trip than he had. He cut the corner here. We're wide, and he won the race.
He was dead game, as he always is.
You know, when a lot of people last year said he really wasn't beating anything, and then look what Lee did in Florida this winter. I mean, Lee chased him all year, and then he got him on the dirt. I mean, right here. I mean, he's game here.
Now, he's missed some time. How do you best get him to the defense of his Breeders' Cup Mile title? What races will you use?
Well, you know, that's what I've thought a lot in my head, but I think this is a good starting point here. I know he has to carry weight. I know the race is a little bit longer, but it's really going to set him up for the Shadwell. And I feel comfortable in the Shadwell because I'm going to be bringing him home.
Right.
He'll be on his home track. He'll be right there in Lexington. We won't have to ship him a bunch. Right. And I think that's what we do. I think we see how he does here and then go from here to Shadwell to Breeders' Cup.
And are you confident enough that those two races, and of course the training in the interim, will be enough to have him perfect for Breeders' Cup Day?
I think you couldn't be better. You know, we've run him a lot the last 2 years. years. We took him to Woodbine, and we took him to Shadwell. This time, I think, we're going to subtract some races, and who knows, it may leave something left for the end of the year after the Breeders' Cup, if everything goes right.
And is it possible that you may try dirt at the race at Churchill?
That's what I'd like to do. In a perfect world, if everything goes right, God willing, he stays sound and nothing goes wrong. We've subtracted 3 races. We didn't run him in the Firecracker. So, if he won the Breeders' Cup and he came home and he was good, why not run him in a grade 1 on dirt? The way he's training on the dirt, I'm really happy with him.
Well, Charlie, that is wonderful. And it is wonderful to see him back. Wonderful to see you here again at Saratoga. And we want to say thank you by giving you this $100 gift card to Jacob and Anthony's American Grill, 38 High Rock Avenue here in downtown Saratoga. They are open daily for lunch and dinner beginning at 11:30. So please take this with our regards.
Thank you very much.
And, ladies and gentlemen, last year when we had Charlie on, we didn't get him a gift certificate because he told us that he was leaving town so quickly that he wouldn't be able to use it. And your staff wasn't real happy with you, were they?
No, they probably I want to get home.
Well, we've got the $100 gift certificate from last year. So take this, give it to your staff. They'll be happy with you and happy with me, hopefully.
Hopefully we'll be celebrating tonight.
Yes.
Maybe this is where we'll go after the race.
Have a great celebration.
Well, I hope we will.
As
Win, lose,
always.
or draw, we will. Thank you.
Great to see you, as always.
Thank you.
Good luck this afternoon.
Thank
Charlie
you.
Lopresti, ladies and gentlemen. And we are up to our first break. When we return, Chad Brown will join us as we go to the break. The King's Bishop last Saturday. 2-1 favorite, number 8, Coup de Grace. 2.5-1 second choice, number 7, The Big Beast. So we will take a look at the King's Bishop to the break. Back with Chad Brown right after these messages.
And they're off. And quickly, it's Fast Anna in front. Like a rocket out of the starting gate. And Wildcat Red comes out running in second. The Big Beast third early on here. CC held in fourth toward the inside. Noble Cornerstone is fifth, about 6 lengths from that free-running leader here. And toward the back of the pack, Coup de Grace, Noble Moon, and Myositis Dan. So the opening quarter was 22-4 here for Fast Anna, who zips through that opening quarter mile, but not far behind. It's Wildcat Red and the Big Beast, who's situated on the outside as they move into the far turn. CZ is just in behind the leaders and running along in fourth. And then it's Coup de Grace, now about 5 lengths from the front, followed by Noble Cornerstone, Noble Moon, and Myositis Dan. Still chasing Fast Anna through a half mile of 46 seconds flat. Wildcat Red is in all-out pursuit, but is still 2.5 lengths behind. The Big Beast floated wide there by Wildcat Red. Coup de Grace moves through in between horses, but Fast Anna is still there. The Big Beast unwinding up now on the far outside. Wildcat Red is in between horses. Coup de Grace in tight. CZ had to check. Can Fast Anna hold on? The Big Beast is coming with giant strides on the outside. Fast Anna, the Big Beast, got it by a head, just gobbling up the ground in the final furlong here to defeat Fast Anna. Coup de Grace was third.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
The big day is here. You've told everybody. You've dressed the part. Your heart is pounding in your chest. Your horse is rolling down the stretch. He's coming. He's closing. He's the winner! You're a winner with Parting Glass Racing. PartingGlassRacing.com. PartingGlassRacing.wow.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to capitalotv.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. capitalotv.com. Log on today.
Sovereign stable.
Partnerships.
Ownership.
Winning.
Sovereign stable.
The anticipation.
The excitement.
The thrill.
Top level racing.
Sovereign stable.
Join us in the morning on the backstretch of Saratoga Racecourse to experience the magic of thoroughbred ownership. Call 866-329-2WIN to meet trainers, jockeys, and watch sovereign horses on the track.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Asano. My thanks to Charlie Lopresti once again for having joined us. And the big beast in his stakes debut for Tony Dutrow, and despite getting fan wide turning for home, runs down Fast Anna to capture the King's Bishop. Coup de grace was third. Next guest is a local native who is within 2 winners of Todd Pletcher at the top of the trainer standing. This afternoon he will saddle the razor-sharp, late-running Zevo for the Woodward. We welcome back to Down the Stretch, Mr. Chad Brown. Chad, welcome back to the show.
Mark, thanks for having me.
Good to see you, as always. Slow start to the meet, but boy, have you come back, and you're within 2 of Todd. Talk about the meet in general, how it's gone.
You know, like you said, we got off to a little bit of a slow start, but we won so many races at Belmont in the spring.
Yeah.
We had a feeling we might have had a couple of those Saratoga winners win there. But when the horses are doing good, you have to lead them over there and take advantage of it, and we did. But, you know, the second half of the meet, things have really got rolling for us.
The numbers are kind of stacked against you over the last 3 days. Mr. Pletcher's got, you know, a lot more horses than you do. I know you've thought of this. What would it mean to you to win the Saratoga training title?
Oh, it'd mean a lot, especially for my staff who work so hard, and everyone in the area up here is always rooting for us. And, you know, if it happens, it'd be terrific. And if we don't quite get there this year, we'll be back again. Try another year.
Well, if they would run more 2-year-old turf stakes, you might be unbeatable. We're going to look at a couple from this Wednesday, the P.G. Johnson and Partisan Politics. Number 3, 4th on the outside as we pick it up. She had some trouble early in the race. She overcame it and ran big.
She sure did. She took quite a hit in the first turn. Very worried about that, and then had a wide trip the rest of the way. Really impressed with how she finished the race, and her first time around 2 turns. She looks to have a bright future for sure.
You debuted her in a turf sprint prior to stretching her out for this. Why the turf sprint?
Yeah, as you know, generally if I think they're going to be 2-turn stake-winning juvenile turf horses, I'll debut them long. This filly, I just felt that the way she trained, she was one of the rare horses I thought would benefit from a sprint first, and we actually liked her to win that day, and she was in a 3 or 4 horse photo and was a little unlucky, but it ended all working out fine because she got the race she needed, and she proved when she did get around 2 turns with a race under her belt, she's pretty good.
How'd she come out of the race, and what's next for her?
So far, she came out great. I'd say the Miss Grillo would be the most likely spot for her, but we'll nominate her to a few other stakes as well. And you know, this time of year with your juvenile turf horses, you know, how they come out of the races, weather, all that kind of stuff plays a part in what we do with them.
Well, a day later, the With Anticipation for 2-year-old males, and the same result. This time with the New York-bred Startup Nation, number 1, just entering the screen from last. Now, I know the pace set up perfectly for him, but this was pretty impressive.
Yeah. The first quarter was strong. They slowed it down a little bit the second quarter, and he was still pretty far back. I was a little worried he had lost all of his position, but as you can see, this horse has a devastating turn of foot, and he can make up a lot of lengths in a hurry if he needs to.
What did Joel say to you after the race?
He said, "This is my Breeders' Cup horse, so leave me on him." And of course, we wouldn't think of taking him off. He's ridden him well both times, and with that turn of foot, I don't think a cut back to a mile eventually at Santa Anita would hurt him. So one more prep, and hopefully we get out west.
You know, almost every horse you send out here at Saratoga takes all kinds of money. But this horse, debuting in a New York-bred maiden race, was 9.5 to 1. He wouldn't be 9.5 to 1 if the Breeders' Cup was run tomorrow. Did he surprise you that day?
No, the thing is we had another horse in the race that was the favorite, so that's where all the other money went. A nice horse as well, a Kitten's Joy, that
Right.
Probably be a little more popular, with the stallion, and of course Castellano was on the other horse, so a lot of the money got shifted that way, but we weren't surprised at all. This horse was training very well, and he ran to his works.
How did he come out of the race?
Thankfully, he came out of his race super as well, and as far as the next start for him, we'll nominate him to a few different things. More than likely the Pilgrim at Belmont would be where I'd like to keep him home and run him in New York.
Now, at present, obviously, these are your two best 2-year-old grass horses. Anybody in the barn that is, that could supersede either one of these?
Well, we've had some other ones win first time out, and they've only run once, and they've done everything right. Another colt named Can't Happen Here that was impressive, winning first out, going long. And 2 fillies, Lady Eli and Tammy the Torpedo, who both won going long here first time out as well. And all 3 of those horses will be running in stakes next out.
All right, let's talk Zevo. A year ago here at Saratoga, if I had said to you, he's going to win 6 in a row, including a Grade 2 stakes, what would you have said?
I would have thought it was a little bit of a reach for you. He was just coming back last year off a pretty serious injury, this horse. It just required plenty of time and patience, and thankfully his owner, Tom Coleman, very patient guy, and we all love this horse, so we gave him the time he needed, and he came back better than ever. And he's on quite a roll right now.
Following a victory in the restricted commentator, and I still don't know how he won that day, you sent him to the Suburban. As we pick it up around the far turn, Zevo number 3 will be rallying strongly on the fence. Talk about this performance.
This horse just ran so well. The early fractions, we were feeling pretty good as they were getting posted up there. He's going to get the strong pace he needed, particularly at this long of a distance, 1.25 miles, and boy, did he come with his trademark last move at the quarter pole, and couldn't have run any better.
And a great ride, saving ground around the turn, not having to go outside of horses. It really, everything worked out perfectly.
Yeah, it was Jose's first time on the horse, and he did everything perfect, and we're happy to have him back on him today.
Now, that was 1.25 miles with a very legitimate pace. Today, you're cutting back to 9 furlongs. I guess it's fair to say with a somewhat questionable pace scenario. Your thoughts on turning him back today?
I love the turn back for this horse. Really, we were wavering on even running in the Suburban if he could get 1.25 miles. He'd always been running best at about the mile distance, and sure enough, he got a strong pace and took the 1.25 miles, no problem. 1.125 miles would be fine for him if he gets the pace to run at, and that's what we're concerned about.
Yeah, you don't often see going 9 furlongs here at Saratoga. Winners come from the clouds, and he's going to be well back early on, I assume.
Yeah, you'd think so, and hopefully some sort of pace duel develops at some point of the race, and if it does, I would expect this horse to be rolling late, and hopefully he gets through again.
How's he doing?
He couldn't be doing any better. He looks a picture right now, and he trains well up here at Saratoga. Really easy horse to train, all class.
Now, before we let you go, I noticed that you have a very intriguing first-time starter in Sunday's 7th race by the name of Lady Serena. Tell us about her.
Lady Serena is a real talent, we think. It'll be her first start. She drew a difficult post down there on the rail, and we might have some weather coming in the area, so we're going to have to think about what we want to do. But all the signs in the morning market, this filly could be real special.
And she's a half to Honor Code, who Shug debuted up here last year, and a half to that good grass horse you had.
Noble Tune.
Noble Tune.
Yeah, so this will only be the 3rd fall, and it's quite a mare she's out of. And like I said, all her works have been A+, A+. So we're looking forward to get her started.
That's wonderful. Chad, as always, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for having joined us this morning on Down the Stretch. And we want to say thank you by giving you this $100 gift card to Jacob and Anthony's American Grill, 38 High Rock Avenue, right here in downtown Saratoga. They are open daily for lunch and dinner, beginning at 11:30. So take the family and
Thank
have
you.
a nice lunch or dinner on us.
Thank you.
And good luck this afternoon and for the rest of the meet.
Thanks for
Good
having
seeing
me.
you. Chad Brown, ladies and gentlemen. We are up to our final break. When we return, Mr. Tom Durkin, as we go to the break, the Pacific Classic. 6-5 favorite, number 11, Shared Belief. 2.5-1 second choice, number 5, Game On Dude. So we'll take a look at the Pacific Classic to the break. Back with Tom Durkin right after these messages.
It's got to close the gate on Shared Belief. Gate's closed. They're all set. And away they go in the TVG Pacific Classic to a perfect break. Mystery Train on the outside, the big long shot. Mystery Train sprinting away. Game On Dude began beautifully though, and there goes Game On Dude on the inside. They couldn't be going any quicker. They're absolutely sprinting out here. It's 4 lengths back to Toast of New York. Irish Surf down at the rail. In behind that, we have Majestic Harbor, and here's Shared Belief in the black colors racing along 6-5 off those leaders. Ice Cream Truckers down at the rail. You Know I Know's alongside of that. Clubhouse Ride taken back second last, gives them 10 length start, and last of all is Imperative. They head past the 3/4 pole, and Game On Dude showing the way. Game On Dude 3 parts of a length. Mystery Train keeps the pressure on second. 4 lengths back to Irish Surf in third. Toast of New York on the far side. Majestic Harbor at the rail. Shared Belief is racing between horses now. Shared Belief is 6 lengths behind Game On Dude. Then it's You Know I Know. Behind that Ice Cream Truck, Clubhouse Ride. Imperative is last, a good 13 off them. Past the half mile they go, and Game On Dude set sail for home. Game On Dude opens up to lead by 6 as they go into the turn. Toast of New York coming after them. You Know I Know. Shared Belief is starting his run. Now Shared Belief is on the move, and here comes Shared Belief in the black cap on the outside. 1/4 mile to go. Game On Dude. Toast of New York running a huge one, but it is Shared Belief who's now let loose. And here is Shared Belief on the grandstand side going right on by. Homeward bound in the Pacific Classic, and it's all Shared Belief. Toast of New York, Game On Dude dropping out of it. But it is Shared Belief in another absolutely awesome performance. Shared Belief will remain unbeaten and basically untested. Mike Smith and Shared Belief have won the TVG Pacific Classic. Toast of New York second. Imperative ran on late with Irish Surf and Game On Dude. Then Majestic Harbor. Behind that Ice Cream Truck, You Know I Know. And then Mystery Train and Clubhouse Ride.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Sovereign stable.
Partnerships.
Ownership.
Winning.
Sovereign stable.
The anticipation.
The excitement.
The thrill.
Top level racing.
Sovereign stable.
Join us in the morning on the backstretch of Saratoga Racecourse to experience the magic of thoroughbred ownership. Call 866-329-2WIN to meet trainers, jockeys, and watch sovereign horses on the track.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Cassano. My thanks to Chad Brown once again for having joined us. In Shared Belief, Jerry Hollendorfer, Mike Smith, in his first ever start beyond 9 furlongs, captures the Pacific Classic by 2 3/4 over fellow 3-year-old Toast of New York, Game On Dude, a tired 4th. Our final guest this morning, and our final guest for the 2014 Saratoga meet, has enhanced racing here in New York since 1990 with his outstanding race calls, and we are thrilled that he was able to join us this morning. We welcome in Mr. Tom Durkin. Tom, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for that very generous appearance fee, too. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Now, originally you were going to retire next year.
Yeah.
So what changed? Why are you retiring now?
Well, I just wasn't feeling the normal anxiousness to get back to work over the winter. I'd take a couple months off in the wintertime, and usually, come December, I'm ready to, take a little time off, and then come March, I'm really ready to get anxious to get back there. I just really wasn't feeling it, and then that idea started kicking around my head. got comfortable with it, and I thought of the ups and downs, and I thought, let's just make this the last year. I didn't want to work one day when I wasn't able to do my best, and so I was comfortable with that.
Race calling, is that what you always wanted to do?
Yeah, I wanted to be Pope for a little while when I was a kid. It seemed like a great job, good wardrobe, great benefits. But then I realized that I probably wasn't going to be made out for the priestly lifestyle. That somehow occurred when puberty came around. I don't know how or why. And but no, when I was probably 13, 14, just was listening and became fascinated with the track announcer in Chicago, Phil Georgieff. And I wanted to be Phil Georgieff, and I really never wasted much time pursuing anything else.
People, our audience, recognize you for being on the biggest stages, whether that be here in New York since 1990, calling the Breeders' Cup races and the Triple Crown races. But you didn't start on the biggest stage, did you? Tell us where you started.
That wasn't even a stage. No, I started calling county fairs in Wisconsin, the races. The purses were, I don't know, anywhere from $200. Once a year we had a $1,000 race. And there were various kinds of horses. Wayne Lucas, who was also from there, he left prior to my arriving on that scene. But he used to run some of his ponies in those little fair races and stuff like that. But mostly thoroughbreds, quarter horses, and things like that.
The greats in all facets of life make it look easy. And you've made it sound easy for decades. But you've dealt with some anxiety issues. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, for the big races, actually, and even today when I wake up, every day before I go to work, there's just it's not a work day. I know when I wake up and I don't have a work day, I just don't feel wound up, and so yeah, it became just a little bit too much. I mean, I've always had to deal with it, but at one point in 2010, I said, let's just not have to deal with this anymore, and life's too short. And so I gave up the big TV jobs, and I still have a certain amount of stress you feel, here, but I deal with it.
In listening to you for a long time, at least to me, it always sounded like you truly enjoyed your job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love my job. I suppose I'll miss having it, but I'll have to find some other way to, find expression. This job, it's a self-articulation that most people really don't get, and so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Words have always been very important to you and a critical part of your race calling. Tell us how you prepared for those races and what those words meant to you in calling those races.
Well, if you're building a house, you use bricks. The better the bricks, the better the house. Brick house is better than frame house. Good words are better than mundane words. I've always loved language, and I try to work at it, and still keep on make notes about new words and what have you.
We decided to show, we could show 100 memorable race calls from Tom Durkin. Time does not permit that. So I selected 4 races that, we're going to take a look back at a minute or so of each. And as we're watching it and listening to it, tell the audience about what you felt that the race was unfolding, what you remember about the call. We'll take it in chronological order, beginning with a 94 Travers and Holy Bull and Concern.
Well, Lucas had the Tabasco Cat, a Belmont winner in there, and he put in a rabbit called Comanche Trail to really take it to Holy Bull, who was probably not a mile and a quarter horse. He didn't do well in the Derby. He forced him, I think the first quarter was 22-3, and they got 3 quarters up in 10-2. And Holy Bull, but like the man said, here's cause from Concern, and here's Concern is going to go on and be a Breeders' Cup Classic winner. Loved the distance, and Holy Bull just, he got to the top of the stretch. but his courage got him the rest of the way. Concerns just keeps on coming at him, and you just have to imagine how fatigued Holy Bull must have been at this point after being run into the ground by Lucas's rabbit. Tabasco Cat didn't show up, Concern did, but he just never was able to get by Holy Bull.
And listening to your call, it seemed to me as though you genuinely appreciated the effort, the courage, the determination of Holy Bull.
Well, yeah, that's, I mean, I love calling the competitions with the horses. I mean, they're so competitive. What the jockeys do is just so unbelievably skillful, and how they do what they do remains a mystery to me, and I'm in awe of what they do. And also the horses, too. I mean, they're just born to compete. And, when that competition is laid out on a stage like Saratoga, it's just wonderfully fun to describe.
The 1995 Breeders' Cup Classic saw Cigar complete an unbeaten season.
He was going to go for 11 for 11 here, and I think that Cigar fourth on the outside. Bailey's just sitting chilly. There's 3.5 furlongs to go. Now he makes his move. There he is, and now he's in front. The big problem that everybody was worried about with Cigar that day was because the track was off that day. The track was listed as good by the time the Classic came around. Still a lot of moisture in that track, and no one really knew how he was going to perform earlier in his career. I think he had a bad off-track day or so. But, he just overcame, I think I even mentioned in the call, overcame his rivals and even Mother Nature too, to retire, not to retire undefeated, but go for a perfect season there, 11 for 11, way back when. 59-2, that's a pretty good time for a mile and a quarter.
That was a heck of a call too at the end. It really was.
Yeah, it's good race.
You do appreciate great racehorses, don't you?
Well, I do, and I think one reason I do is because, I worked for 10 years, around not great racehorses. Places like Cahokia Downs, Quad City Downs, the Wyega County Fair, and I kicked around for a long time. And I was so surprised when I got into the big leagues, if you will, at the attitude that some people had about these horses. Like, he was a $20,000 claimer. Oh, that bum. $20,000 claimer worked 10 years before, so a horse was worth $20,000. And some of these guys, they'd never seen a good horse, never saw a bad horse. So, but I appreciate the big races, I do, and I think that's one reason why, is because it wasn't always that way.
Yeah. The 1998 Belmont Stakes, and considering what was on the line, quite possibly the worst beat in the modern era.
Yeah, I wrote a little thing for the Racing Forum. They wanted me to describe some of these races, and I said it was the worst beat of all bad beats of all time. And so here's Real Quiet on the outside. Some, thought Kent DeSormo moved too soon. I did mention that he moved early in the race, but I did not say too early, and I did not say too soon. He moved with 5.5 furlongs to go. Now, if he wins this race, it's the greatest time jockey move of all time. He loses by a nose. Now he gets not even a nose. I mean, a millimeter. And here comes Victory Gallop, and it's going to be close. And he loses along with a place in the pantheon of the greats of being a Triple Crown winner. Real Quiet's owners lose by this much, a $5 million bonus, plus the lion's share of $1 million purse. So that was a pretty bad beat. I mean, Real Quiet is all that, 1 millimeter before the wire, 1 millimeter after the wire, and I got such a kick out of it. There was some brushing near the wire late in the game, and so Stevens claimed foul. Although it was never admitted by the stewards, but I saw him claim foul, and they put up the inquiry sign, and but Real Quiet finished second, and so they said, oh well, we would have disqualified him had he won. Yeah, sure. We were going to disqualify a Triple Crown winner. Yeah. Good luck, and enjoy going to your car in the parking lot that night. Yeah.
And finally, I've been coming here to Saratoga for a very long time. And the most anticipation, the most excitement for a single horse race I've ever witnessed was the 1978 Travers between Affirmed and Aladar. But 5 years ago, when Rachel faced the boys in the Woodward, I think that was the equal. Talk about calling this very special race.
Yeah, well, everybody was psyched up about Rachel. They had banners up and down Broadway, you know, with Rachel's face on it and said, "She runs like a girl." And of course, she's a short price there. It says 1 to 4. And so, you know, the thing about that was I've never been in an earthquake, but I imagine that's what it feels like being in a building when the earth is shaking, because, you know, with everybody screaming at the top of their lungs, just forcing these air molecules into the old wood rafters there, it really made the building literally shake. And of course she digs down here, as brave as she was, this monster running at her, and just holds on, and that was great. That was terrific.
Is there one call that you wish you had a mulligan on, that you wish you had back?
Mind that bird winning the Derby. Yeah, I mean, I just was too late getting to him.
Well, it was muddy that day, and it was
they also had 5 horses owned by Windstar.
Yeah.
And I asked the guy at Churchill Downs, says, "What color hats are you going to put on?" Well, we're all going to, white. And I go, "What do you mean white?" I said, "They're five-part entry." And he goes, and I remember never hear said, "Man's got a right to run his horse in his own colors in the Derby." And I went, "What about Secretariat?" I mean, he ran a different hat. And then the next year, they were running back 3 or 4, and I called up Bill Kastner, who owned Windstar Farm, and I said, "Can you put different?" Of course we can. So he never, whatever. But that's water under the dam. But I wish I could have had that call back. Yeah.
Larry Colmus is going to succeed you here in New York. Did you have any part in selecting Larry?
No.
What do you think of Larry?
Oh, he's a rotten to the core individual. He's nastiest. Oh my God! I see him and I just want to. No one liked Larry very much. He's a terrific caller, and I wish him all the best.
You have influenced many young race callers, and earlier in the interview, you mentioned Phil Georgieff. Who else were your biggest influences?
Well, I worked with Dave Johnson for many years at the Meadowlands. I was his assistant there, calling the thoroughbreds. And I just learned a lot just being around Dave, how to conduct yourself, how to be a professional, classy guy, always treated everybody well. And I learned a lot from him, even how to color my program with the program colors. He did that, and he advised me to do it when I was very, very young. And I still have to this day, when I got hired at Cahokia Downs, where he started, he sent me a very lovely letter and said, "I remember the day I got the call, Dave Johnson." I still have it, and I don't keep stuff, but that's one thing I did keep.
That's great. Well, what are some plans in retirement? What are you going to do?
I'll goof off, but only for a little while. I'll try to let things settle in. I can go a lot of different ways. I'm not exactly sure. I'll try to make things relevant. But I don't know exactly what to do. I mean, I certainly love to keep my hand in horse racing. Maybe do some voiceover work. I don't know. I like doing that. Never met anybody who got calluses doing voiceovers. Charity work, of course, is going to be involved in the puzzle. And I don't know. So a couple of weeks I'm going to take off, go to Italy for a while, and just kick back and see where life will take me.
You've got, you still got the harness horses with your pal Joe Spadera?
Yes. Actually, they're both resting up for the rest of the summer and the fall. And Karaji also had a good year this year. He made about $170,000, and he's got a full brother, a 2-year-old, Electrizante,
nice.
who hasn't got the idea that you're supposed to pass horses. He just likes to go, "Hey, how about this? What? What do you want me to do? Oh no." He was third the other night at the harness track.
Okay.
So we might give him a little attitude adjustment in a testicular fashion soon.
Sunday Spinaway will be your final call. Anything special planned for that?
No, not really. You know, somebody said, "What are you going to do special? You got to do something really special." I said, "Okay, you know, I'll call horses backwards." You know, it's a horse race, and I'll do nothing to take away from the event as it is a horse race.
And on Monday here, you'll be here greeting fans. They can get autographs. Tell our audience about that.
Yeah, the Big Red Spring on Monday. I guess they tell me I'm supposed to be there at 12 o'clock. We'll stay there until we get everybody's autograph signed. And my friend said, "What are you going to be doing?" I said, "You know, just meeting people." He goes, "Kissing hands and shaking babies." Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
What do you think you're going to miss the most?
Mark Cassano interviews. I mean, I just live for them. I can't wait for Sundays at 10 o'clock. I usually don't go even to sleep on Saturday night.
It's Saturdays at 10 o'clock.
It's Saturdays at 10 o'clock. Oh, you're not that guy with the beard.
No.
Okay, maybe I got it wrong then. I like him.
Do you remember the last interview? We've been on the air for about 22 and a half years.
I thought you started at 10 o'clock.
And the only person who has ever broken me up is Tom Durkin. We talked about Myron Florin and him following you at one of the fairs. It's been a heck of a career. Congratulations.
By the way, you don't know who Myron Florin is. He was a famous polka meister. And we got preempted at the Wausau County Fair. We could only have 3 races because we had to make room for the Myron Florin show. So that's who Myron Florin is for those of you that are under 95.
He went on to star with Lawrence Welk, and after Tom told that story about Myron Florin on the show, I received a Myron Florin album in the mail. Maybe the only Myron Florin album ever sold. I don't know.
Wow. What was it, chiseled in stone?
Yes. Congratulations on a great career.
Appreciate it, Mark.
It's been fabulous. You have enhanced racing for 20 plus years, and we all thank you for that.
43, I don't know, but that's okay. First 23 didn't count, because nothing counts unless you're in New York. We all know that.
We also want to thank you by giving you this
$1,000 gift certificate.
Well, we know
so nice.
We know you're going to be on a fixed income here pretty soon.
Yeah, I am on a pension starting Tuesday. Yeah.
So take this to Jacob and Anthony's American Grill at 38 High Rock Avenue.
You don't have to tell me. I mean, Tom's the bartender there.
You love it?
Oh, yeah, I go. This is my last stop before I go home every night.
That's wonderful.
I live right down the block, and this $1,000 will go a long way. Appreciate it.
Listen, if they give you $1,000, more power to you.
Good.
Have fun.
I'll put it on your account.
That's right. Not a problem. Again, congratulations on a brilliant career. Have fun the last couple of days here.
I will try. If I can last the 2 days, I'll be very, very happy.
Tom Durkin, ladies and gentlemen. All right, before we leave you this morning, time to thank all the folks who helped get this week's show on the air. Here at Saratoga, our associate producer, Julie Hoxie, Brian Dorenzo and Mick Richards back in the control room. Pat Peretta directed and Dino Contonacci. Thanks to our guests, Tom Durkin and Chad Brown and Charlie Lopresti and Jimmy Jerkens. And thanks to our sponsors, All Meat Long, Parting Glass Racing, Saratoga's original racing partnership. They've had a very good Saratoga meet. Visit them on the web at partingglassracing.com. And by Jacob and Anthony's American Grill, where we send all of our guests with either a $100 gift card or a $1,000 gift card. 38 High Rock Avenue, right here in downtown Saratoga Springs. Open daily for lunch and dinner, beginning in about a half an hour at 11:30. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you so much for having joined us this morning on Down the Stretch. Enjoy your final 3 days here at Saratoga. And from all of us here at Down the Stretch, we'll see you next week.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.